I was trying to be an echo that time.
Ooh. Well,
Yeah.
we hope this isn't your first time here, and this episode just echoes right into your feed because we are the Grand Line Tourist, a chapter by chapter examining or re-examining of One Piece, written by Ichiro Oda. Ikaro? I'm sorry, you got to tell me how I make Ichiro Oda.
There you go.
Ichiro Oda. I'm doing the examining because I am your tourist. You know, I'm the titular tourist of Grand Line Tourist. And Eric, what function are you serving us here?
I am your tour guide. I am Eric Vu. See, I said my full name that time, and it feels better.
That's good. You said your full name. I don't think I said any of my name.
You did not say
any
of your. This is what happens
I am just
when
a tourist.
Intro.
Yeah, no. I'll get used to it. I'll get better. But I am Jacob. Wait for it. Jarecki.
Yes.
And today we're going to be going over Chapter 7 of One Piece, and it is called Friends. Look at that.
Friends.
You got a friend in me. We're getting kicked off for DCMA violation. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, come at me, Woody. Come at me.
Yeah. I'm gonna come at you with the itinerary for today's episode. Are you ready? A quick summary before we get started today.
Yep.
We've just come off some epic fights, but now the Navy is celebrating because Captain Morgan, this horrible person, is now gone. Luffy and Zolo, especially Luffy, do what they like the best and get some refreshments and food at like the local diner.
Right.
At one of
Zoro hasn't
towns.
eaten in almost a month.
Oh yeah, no, he needs some food, and they talk about how they're going to go to the Grand Line and how Kobe is planning on joining the Navy. But that's going to prove a little bit problematic because Kobe is, kind of hanging out with some piratey type people. Ultimately, Luffy and Kobe get into a fight, which proves Kobe to be, cool with the Navy folk, and the Navy presents a salute to the pirates as they sail away. Luffy now with a crew member, Zolo.
Right, sail away into the sunset. Yeah, I mean, it's funny to think about, but at this point, they're right. Kobe's resume is actually mostly pirate. More pirate than it is Navy at this point.
He served on a pirate ship, right? Like, that was his intro.
For 2 years. He said that for 2 years he was cabin boy. And, like, it's funny. That's pretty funny. Just the idea that he was cabin boy for 2 years for Alvida, and he's still like, oh yeah, the Navy won't know. What did you think overall of the chapter?
I enjoyed this chapter. It's a bit of like a I don't know. It's a lull in the action. You're kind of seeing just how things get wrapped up now that this big force in the world, Captain Morgan, has been taken away. Right. And I think it's kind of nice to get to see characters exist in a setting like this for a little while. Just seeing them eat and hang out and talk. There's a little action. There's like a punch or so, but for the most part, there's not so heavy in the hitting department in this chapter anyway.
Yeah, it's not like we're done with the shonen fight part of it. This is like the conclusion. This is definitely what it kind of feels like when they're closing out an arc, right? And this is kind of the arc of Kobe, essentially, because Kobe's done for now in this moment.
Yeah, you can forget those Eric shonen fight elements for this episode at least, but there will be a test later, so
yes, I hope you guys took notes.
You better prepare.
Right. I expect your dissertations by the end of the semester about shonen fight elements. Yeah. Okay. So my shonen spotlight for this chapter is I wrote down Friends 5 ever instead of 4 ever. You get it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
5 ever.
5 ever.
Yeah.
5 ever.
Yeah.
Wait.
It's terrible.
Why 5? Am I missing something?
No, you're not.
Oh my goodness!
Because
I'm gonna put this down.
Because it's more than 4. It's 5 ever. Yes, that's kind of like what this chapter is titled, Friends. That's what this chapter is about. It's about friends and really the idea of like friendships being more than like just existing in the same room. Like you don't have to just your friends aren't the people like directly in front of you all the time. It can also like your friendships are they last longer than that. They last deeper than that if you want them to.
Yeah, no, it's kind of, especially I think you're kind of mainly referring to the fact that like Kobe and Luffy Zolo they're going separate ways, you know?
Yeah.
And they're questioning what does that mean for them, right? Like, you know, is this it? Like, you know, are we going to, but they kind of take something from each other onwards into their journeys, especially Kobe does at least, you know?
Yeah.
Kobe is saying that like, these people taught me how to fight for what I believe in, which is, hey, you know, we all need that lesson. Like every day, Kobe's got it from these friends that he has great memories with. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and Kobe, like, I think that's where it kind of stems from, because the beginning of this, like you were mentioning in the summary, is them announcing that, hey, we're going to go to the Grand Line. That's where we're going next. And Kobe is a man who lives in fear, rational still. You know, he does have some he has some good logic in there. But his biggest fear is that, and he says it out loud, which is, I'm worried about my friends doing something crazy, and this is crazy. You guys are crazy for going there. And that's where the conversation of friendship pops up, because Kobe says, hey, we're still gonna be friends, right, Luffy? And Luffy has the really good line of, even though we're going separate ways, we'll always be friends, Kobe. This is a little cheesy, but this is actually, I think, the one aspect of One Piece that affected me the most. Because I think when I was watching at least One Piece, when I started my One Piece journey, it was like my second year in college. And I think at that point I already kind of knew, because I was starting to lose some of my high school friends. You know, and that makes sense. Around your second year, that's when you're making your social circle explodes during college, and if you're not back in the same hometown and stuff like that, you don't really get to see some of your college friends, especially if they go to different colleges and stuff like that too. And I think that, like, this theme, which is like not a new theme, it's a theme in a lot of things, but I think it hit me the most through One Piece, and I kind of and I apply it to my life now, which is like, no matter where I go, the friends that I've made, I still try to keep it the same as if it never, like, our friendship never stopped. Even though there could be years of gaps in between, we'll always be friends, like Luffy said, and I'll always be excited to see you. And I think that's...
I was going to say, did you go to college and on the Grand Line, or are you more of an East Blue college sort of person?
You know, I wish I could have got to an East Blue school, but I went to a very low state school in the Grand Line. Which is worse, let me tell you. Everybody was hooligans, a lot of partying, a lot of stealing, a lot of violence, let me tell you. But everybody was very accepting, though. It was a very diverse campus at the very least, you know.
Oh, very good.
Right, and we had a really good dining system. You know, very, very good dining.
Ooh.
A good dining hall.
Nice.
But
Luffy, that's something Luffy would care about, you know.
Right, exactly.
He's all about the food. I was actually, one thing that stuck me about this chapter is I wrote down that it starts and ends with food. And now I'm worried I'm not going to be able to back it up about how does it end with food.
It does. I think it does.
I wrote that down. Does it make sense, actually?
I think it's a reference to, because the chapter ends weird. The last text box, I was going to save this for the joke section of our podcast, but the last the last text box of this chapter is like, and then Zoro and Luffy go off into the sunset, not realizing that they made a big mistake. And I think the big mistake is that they got on the boat and didn't pack any food.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I like it. It almost seems like an enigma to me why I wrote that, but I thought this chapter bookended itself quite well. Thanks for saving me there.
I think that might be it, but I don't know. Who knows what past Jacob thought?
Yeah, no, he's a strange fellow. I would ditch him. If he was an old college friend, I would get rid of him for sure.
Oh, no, don't do that. But he is who you are now.
It's true.
Yeah, man, did you get anything from that kind of, like, the theme of this chapter about, like, the whole, we are friends, but we may drift apart, but we'll always kind of still be friends sort of ideal?
No, I totally felt that. And I also felt this feeling of moving through a place and a time in your life. And the one thing that it really reminded me of was Luffy and Zolo as these kind of pirate outlaw-y sort of figures really made me think of, like, Western outlaws going through a town, helping it, and then leaving, knowing that, like, this isn't where we belong, but we're moving on. So not necessarily the friendship moving on, but adding on to that, this moving on from a place that they were getting food from, like, the local mom and the local child in the town that, they were very happy to have been saved from Captain Morgan by them, right? But they're not here to stay. They got a journey to go, and I really felt that moving on sort of thematic element interwoven throughout this chapter.
Yeah, I like the whole a man's gotta be what a man is. Right, a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Which is kind of what I'm applying to like the Navy, saying like, hey, we're the Navy, you're the pirates, but we respect you for saving us. So we're not going to report you, but we still got to capture you if you're going to stick around, sort of deal, you know. Which I get the whole cowboy reference that you're bringing up right now. Definitely here in that situation.
Yeah, it also made me think of the fact that Western cinema apparently has its roots and origins in some Japanese cinema, which I'm just maybe somehow ties into some of the origins of One Piece in a way. But yeah, it definitely I got that feeling of outlaws saving the town, and then ultimately not belonging in that town, which is pretty cool.
Right, and I think that leads back to exactly why Luffy, like, kind of goads Kobe into punching him, right? The separation, like, your dream, you can't achieve your dream that we have fought for, right? Because Luffy has fought for Kobe's dream, too, at this point, fighting Captain Morgan and all that stuff. You can't achieve that dream as long as the Navy thinks that we're connected. Even though the Navy knows, it's like that thing, it's that bureaucratic stuff where, or political, it's more political, where like the Navy knows that they're friends, but we rather not hear you say it. We rather not hear you say it. Yeah, no,
and I mean, and they almost back out of it at the end, right? When they go and give them all a salute,
Yeah.
Like, it feels like there's a little bit of a wink and a nod ultimately in the end, which maybe is Luffy maybe it's Kobe starting to assert, a little bit of himself into the Navy. Pretty fast, quick turnaround, getting everyone to salute like that.
Right.
Pretty cool, though.
Yeah, and I think that's just, it's a good thing, and I know this chapter is kind of small when we talk about content-wise. Like, this is kind of it. That's really what happens in this chapter. But it's a big theme, and I think friendship is, like, something that they talk about and they discuss later on in arcs, too. But this is the first time that we see, like, such a heartfelt goodbye. Because Kobe does have that really sad line of, like, you're my first friend, and I've only had you. We've only been friends for like a week, essentially.
Yeah, no, I mean he's been more friends with pirates for 2 years on a ship, probably occasionally, but these guys are new.
Right.
There was a funny thing I wanted to call out, and I don't know if this will become a segment, but we're gonna go with what, like, because I, being a tourist, have the ability to make predictions that may be incorrect.
Okay.
And so I got a wild Jacob One Piece prediction coming up right here.
I like this. We'll call it Jacob's Prediction Corner.
JPC, Jacob's Prediction Corner. Here we go. Come into my corner, and I'm going to tell you that there is a little girl in this chapter, and she says something particularly interesting to Luffy. She says, "Wow, you're great." And that made me think of the way Luffy used to look at Captain Shanks. And I was almost imagining Luffy being a sort of Captain Shanksy figure to this little girl in this town. She's coming back. She's going to be a big player on the Grand Line later. She's going to help Luffy out in some big way, and we're going to know because she's going to come back with rice balls, and it's going to be, it's the rice ball girl. That's what's going to happen. That's my prediction.
And that is
Prediction Corner.
Jacob's Prediction Corner.
All right.
I don't know. Should we ask him to write in and tell you if you're right or wrong, or do you kind of like want to live in your ignorance?
No, I think if anyone feels compelled to write in and comment on my prediction, they should feel free. Reach out at hard to say, grandlinetourist@gmail.com. Don't throw in the. It's just grandlinetourist@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And you can, comment on my prediction. You can let me know if it's an awesome prediction, even if it is wrong. Leave me in the dark. Let me see the light. Or lie to me about it. Make me think that I'm not going to see her come back, and then she is. I'm going to be really upset at you, and I'm going to find your email. And I'll mention you in the podcast later.
Oh, wow. That'd be very elaborate, guys, but also really funny. At least it'd be really funny for me. I'm going to daisy chain.
Yeah, because you would know, and you could just, like, 100%, bring it in, and you didn't have to tell me. Oh, dang it.
I also, you also, for this prediction segment, which I really like now, if you could do it, if you could always come up with a prediction for each chapter, it's going to be hilarious.
Maybe not every chapter, but, like, anytime it comes up, I'm gonna call them out.
Yeah, because this will be the series to do that weird, your little tinfoil hat making prediction corner for. One Piece is the perfect series to do that for.
All right.
But what I was gonna say, I'm gonna daisy chain out of Jacob's prediction corner into my favorite segment, which is OP got. What has it got?
Ha 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 ha. It's got jokes.
It got jokes because I want to say that you're mentioning the same thing, and I thought it was a funny joke simply because I think it's cool for her to say you're pretty great, and he's like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But also, I actually thought it's a reference to Captain Morgan.
Oh no, I did. I definitely felt that vibe too. I did.
Yeah.
I just I wanted to take it in a different direction. I totally spoke to me there as well because he says, "Yeah, I'm so great," right?
Yeah,
and now we
it's
got
the first
this,
line.
young girl telling him, "Yeah, you're so great," and Luffy kind of takes it more on the nose, right? Like, "Yeah, I kind of am,"
Yeah, but it's also the it's different, which I think is the irony. I think is funny, which is that a girl is like a little girl is openly telling Luffy that he is great, whereas Captain Morgan, in the first time we meet him, is telling himself that he's great.
Yeah, no, that is a very poetic bookend to that kind of egotistical plot line right there.
Right.
So, man, you already make me feel like I shouldn't have gone all in on my prediction.
Too late. You're in that corner. You wear that tinfoil hat. You weird tourist.
No.
You gotta wear it now. So that's my out of the three. My second one is I also like how Zoro and Luffy are just very nonchalant about the Grand Line. I love the contrast of Kobe freaking out about the Grand Line, and they're like, and Luffy's like, well, I mean, if we want the One Piece, that's where we gotta go. And Zoro's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we got it. That's
That's
the plan.
sense. I mean, where else are we gonna go? Like, I think that's just really funny because that's just the two of them are idiots. Like, they're idiots. Like, the end of the day, what Kobe is saying, yes, he's very much motivated by fear, but he is not wrong. Also, like, there's a little more thinking, and you guys need to add people to your crew that do the thinking for you sometimes too. And then my last one, which you brought up, which is the last text box when they're leaving, where he's like, which is because when it's a text box, which is the narrator of this story telling us that they're riding off into the sunset, not realizing that they made a big mistake.
Yeah, no, and the other thing I think it's also on that same panel, but maybe the slightly different text box, same narrator though, that says, when talking about Zoro, first crewman, the former infamous demonic pirate hunter Zolo. And I just thought it was funny how long his name was getting,
Yes.
Because he's not really any of those things anymore. Like, it's funny to think of him as the former infamous demonic pirate hunter Zoro, who is now a pirate, It's just like, it's almost like his entire identity got a little bit erased and reworked there.
Well, it's changed, right? It's that's the idea of the perception that we talked about way back when, about just how the world perceives you overall. And it's funny that it's kind of like we don't know who this narrator is, or we don't need to know, but it's also, one can argue that it's like the narration of the world of One Piece stating that he is no longer a demonic pirate hunter. Now he's just a demonic pirate.
No, and actually we had a little bit of a visual element to that as well, with his hat's gone in this episode. His like skull cap beanie.
Oh yeah,
and I think it makes Zoro look much less threatening. It's like he went from this hardened, tied up criminal to like, oh yeah, that's my buddy I ate lunch with.
Yeah, exactly. But those are all the jokes I have in this chapter. So that is it for me. Do you have any other thoughts about this chapter before we move on to the other segment that we always do?
I think I'm just riving and ready to go for the arguably most exciting section of One Piece. Maybe not now that we have Jacob's prediction corner, but we'll see how that pans out in the future. Are you ready, Eric, for the panel battle? All right. You know what? I'm not feeling as epically confident as I was in the past about my panel. I like it a lot, but I'm gonna take the first punch this time and get it going.
All right.
And I'll let you know that this is the bottom right panel. That is my favorite for this chapter.
Oh, that's a cute panel. All right, so this is just some context. This is where Kobe is kind of saying like, "Hey, I don't want my friends to get hurt. You two have taught me to believe in myself." But he's trying to convince them that it's reckless to go into the Grand Line. And then the panel that Jacob has chosen is Zoro and Kobe in the shot. And Zoro is tapping Kobe in the head with the butt of his sword. He's saying, what about your plans, bro? And he's going, huh? And then it's kind of fun because the way Kobe is saying, huh, but also it kind of makes it seem like the sword is saying, huh, also.
It is. I didn't notice that until just now. I was like, yeah, the onomatopoeia on the page that the sword taps against forehead of Kobe is and it's like, whoa. I mean, okay, Jacob prediction corner. The sword can talk. Okay, just gonna we're not saying anything more about that. But yeah, that's I like that panel. It just the visual humor of it, and just I think it's always weird to imagine something touching your forehead, and whenever it's depicted, I always get a little tingle in my forehead. So I enjoyed that panel. I had a full-on sensational moment.
Yeah, I do like it. I do like how I like how he's poking Kobe's head with it. Because at this moment, Kobe's the one who's hysterical, and he's prone to do that. And I think it's just such a difference in intensity between Kobe and Zoro at this moment. But Zoro's also stating a very real fact, which is you were a cabin boy for Alvida for 2 years, bro.
Jeez, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. That's a good panel, man. I still like it.
Thank you very much.
I guess
I should have stood by it a little stronger.
You should have. The confidence.
But all right, I want to see what you're standing by. I want to see what's going on over there.
Oh, I always choose the best, the coolest ones. I just like this one. This chapter was a little hard to kind of choose a panel, so I do agree with you.
Okay.
But mine is the big one on the bottom.
Okay. No, I think this is the biggest moment of this whole chapter. We have, this is when Kobe is worried about Luffy kind of spilling the beans about, the fact that he worked on a pirate ship, and this forces Kobe to give a good old wallop punch right into Luffy's face. And we got basically almost maybe a 2/3 page panel, and it says "shut up" is what Kobe is saying right at Luffy. We got a whack, gigantic, bold onomatopoeia letters in the background. Luffy's hat is in the air, and just a little bit of exclamation point, question mark in the lower left hand corner. And it's it's really cool to see Kobe get a moment like this. He hasn't really had one yet. It's drawn really well, because I can tell Kobe's punches aren't quite as strong as Luffy's, almost, just even from this panel. Even when Luffy throws a regular punch, I still get this feeling that Kobe's putting it all in, but it's not, he's not quite there yet. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think you can even reinforce that idea you just brought up by the fact that essentially Luffy's off balance, but he's not falling, right? Yeah. And so that kind of it's a good way of showing you're right. It's not as strong as a punch, because every time Luffy punches something, they are off the floor, right? They are off the ground. And
there could even be some more tension in this punch, because it was kind of spurred out of desperation in an attempt to actually help Kobe in a weird way. So
right.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, and I like this exactly. You've named everything why I like this panel so much. I think this is the moment where again, Kobe's getting tested over and over again. Do you really want to be a Navy Marine? Is this what you want? Well, you better come punch me and solidify it, right? Definitely show.
No, that's actually that's a cool one. Basically forcing Kobe to say, "This is what I want," with a punch.
And now, because now you can't go back. Just like how Zoro, the moment he swings at Marines, or the moment he deflects against Marines, right? In the last chapter, he is now a pirate. Well, the inverse is true now for Kobe, which is when the moment you swing at a pirate, well, you have a better shot of being a Marine, a better shot of being the Navy.
Definitely. And, just that we've been looking at it for a little while, I also noticed this makes you far more aware that Luffy's wearing sandals all the time. There's there's a little bit of separation between the bottom pad and his left foot, which is just lovely to see, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's my favorite panel. I like it. I think it was the best one I could find. It was a pretty obvious one too, so.
Very, very nice.
Mm-hmm. And, if you guys agree or disagree, definitely let us know. Email us in at grandlinetourist@gmail.com. Let us know if you agree with us, or you found a better one. If you thought the last panel, I think a runner-up for me was all the Marines saluting Luffy and Zoro
that is good
as
too.
we pull out, right? It's just a fun little, again, under big theme was Shades of Grey. This world is built of Shades of Grey between all pirates and navies. So... but let us know, man. Let us know if I won or Jacob won or you want to fight and you bringing your philosophical ideas into your panel choices. Man, let's do it.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was good, right? That was a good one.
Oh, yeah. No, and so what sort of sound should we go out with today, Eric?
Well, seeing how this is the end of, I'm going to call it like the Kobe arc. Essentially, the first 7 chapters is the end of it all. Kobe's been with us since chapter 2, ending here on chapter 7. So, let's end it with a Kobe, like, nervous laughter. Nervous laughter. It's not really audible.
All right, me and you, we both wear glasses. So, like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's like a face reveal for everybody, but, like, we'll really feel like we're 4 eyes Kobe right here.
All right, and we're going to do our nervous laughter. Ready?
All right.